those of you watching, you don't realize this is take 2.
I was trying to do the Instagram thing and it wasn't working, and too many things were going on simultaneously. Sorry.
So welcome to the Isn't It Romantic Book Club. We're here today with Rebecca Zanetti talking about her novel, One Cursed Rose. She will be in here in a second. I hear feedback. Somebody got volume on? Oh, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so anyway, I'm Abbie Roads. Oh, before I go there, I just wanted to say we're beaming into the Isn't It Romantic Book Club page. We're beaming into the Isn't It Romantic Book Club on YouTube. We're also in Team Sourcebooks, Jennie Marts, and Sharon Wray's page and my page. So leave comments, tell us hi, let us know what's going on with you. Have any questions to Rebecca, let us know. Okay, I'm Abbie Roads. I write romantic thrillers. I tell people think like an episode of Criminal Minds. It's a love story with twists. Here's a little stack of my books. And just so you know, this one is on sale. This one's on sale for $12.99. This one's free on Amazon right now, the e-copy. So grab those. That's only today and tomorrow. Who's next?
I'm next. Hi, my name is Sharon Wray. For those of you who don't know me, I write the Deadly Force series. It's, think, like Sexy Gern Brays, but with like Dan Brown type mysteries. And that I'm working hard. For those of you who've been emailing me endlessly, yes, A Promise at Midnight is in the works. So hopefully I'll have a cover for that soon. But this week, I'm so excited. I also had an anthology come out called Craving My Roommate. I love these crazy anthology covers. It's a collection of just sexy summer romances where there's a roommate involved, and my story is called A Room with a Groom. So it's
such a cute title.
Yeah, they're on their way to the wedding and they get stuck. And for those, just in case you think I'm being rude, I'm really not. I'm in charge of the Facebook pages, trying to keep track of comments. So if I'm looking down at my phone, it's because I'm tracking you. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Diana Muñoz Stewart. I write romantic suspense for The Strong of Heart. My latest release, It's All in the Hips, is out now. And the second in the series, Broken Promises, is out later this year. Second in the Bad Legacy series. And this entire series, Spy Makers Guild, is already out and doing really well.
Me? Hi, everybody. I'm Jennie Marts. I write small town stories with humor and heart. Here's my stack. Here's my hot cowboys that are just so ooh la la. Love my cowboys. I've got my newest book, Overdue for a Cowboy. These are my wallflower and hot cowboys. In this series, Overdue for a Cowboy is the newest one, and the next one is coming out in the series in September called Second Chance with a Cowboy. I also write cozy mysteries, fun, kind of light beach read type cozy mysteries. And this is my beekeeping series, and this is my new book that just came out in June, Kill or Be Killed. So that's a little bit about me. But I am super excited to introduce my friend Rebecca Zanetti and talk about her book today. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is, talk about successful. New York Times, USA Today, Publishers Weekly, and #1 Amazon bestselling author, Rebecca Zanetti, has published more than 60 novels. Holy cow, we're going to talk about that, girl. Which have been translated into several languages. Millions of copies sold worldwide. Her books have received Publishers Weekly and Kirkus starred reviews, and have also been featured in Entertainment Weekly, Women's World, and Women's Day magazine. Her novels have been included in Amazon Best Book of the Year and have been favorably reviewed in both the Washington Post and the New York Times reviews. Welcome, Rebecca.
Hi there. Thanks.
It's good to be here. We are excited to talk to you today, and I have to tell you, I bought the special edition, which, I think it was my sale that shot you to the New York Times.
Yeah,
it was me. So this book is so pretty with the roses on the side. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Yeah.
roses on the side.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Maybe I'm not supposed to give all this away, but there's pretty
Oh,
pictures.
that's beautiful.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Really pretty book.
Yeah.
So-
My favorite part of it is actually when you take the cover off and it has the
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
yeah.
That's gorgeous.
I didn't even take the cover off.
Take the cover. Covers are versatile too. What's I guess is a thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at what's
neat.
inside there.
Oh, look at that.
They are.
Oh, that's
Very cool.
neat.
Yeah. So
Oh.
yeah. So it was Kensington's first special edition and my first special edition. So we all hoped we
Oh, how
knew what we
awesome.
were doing.
Well, you did. Holy cow. I didn't even know that stuff.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
And it looks great.
I bet the
Good
readers
job.
are loving the special edition.
Yeah. And it hit New York Times, right?
And it hit the Publishers Weekly hardcover, which was the first time I've hit that. So
Oh,
That's
congratulations.
That was
cool.
kind of fun.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That is exciting.
Thank you.
So this is like, isn't this like a little bit of a departure for you to write a book like this? Because I think of you as romantic suspense.
Well, I actually started my longest running series is paranormal romance with the Dark Protectors. And so this wasn't a huge leap, but it is dark romance. And the biggest change for me is this is in first person present tense, like all the dark
Yes.
romances are. And I've never written in that before. So hopping into that and then going back to third person past tense for my next Laurel Snow was actually really confusing. Because I was like, then I can't remember what verb to use because I was going back and forth. So it is a little different, but it's, the Dark Protectors are kind of dark too. So we'll see.
So were you writing one, editing another, all of the, working on 3 books at the same time kind of thing?
Yeah, I was. And I usually do. I only write one at a time, but I was hopping back and forth. And that was difficult. I hadn't realized that it would be. But it really was going, wait a minute, now I don't know what verb to use. I really had to stop and then Google it a couple times and then hope I was right or that I'll have a good editor.
And which do you prefer?
I like them all. I like bouncing back and forth because I don't get bored. So
Okay.
That's
All right.
cool. That's cool. Where did the idea for this come from?
the idea for this one actually came from my publisher. So whenever I get close to an end of a series, they say, what do you want to write next? And so I usually have like 10 things I want to write next. So I usually send 5 to my editor. And she said, hey, we're looking to get into the, kind of the TikTok dark romance genre a little bit. Would you send us a proposal for one of those? And it'd be cool if we had like a retelling of a fairy tale. And I was all in because I've always wanted to write a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I mean, always. And so I came up with my 5 ideas and they made an offer on that one and we were off and running. So
And how many books will be in this series?
Yeah, we know that Ella and Rosalie's stories are coming, right? Come on.
Yeah, there's at least 4. So I have a real problem ending series. I don't seem to do it ever. So right now there's 4. We'll
Whose
see.
book is next? Whose book is next?
Rosalie and Alexei, who's he's in prison and she gets him out. And so he's ready to pretty much burn the world down at that point. So it's Snow White.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, come on. Are you gonna do 7 dwarfs?
She inherited a Victorian house from an aunt she didn't know, and she has 7 elderly boarders. And she thinks they're these innocent little men, and a few of them have careers that were not so innocent. So there's some humor there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's great. Is Ella going to be 3rd?
I haven't decided. She's either 3rd or 4th.
Okay. That's my favorite fairy tale, so I keep waiting.
Okay. Yeah, it's coming up. So, and I just saw some of the mock-ups. The second book's called One Dark Kiss, and I just saw some of the mock-ups for the special edition, and it looks cool. They've done a good job. So I'm really excited to be able to share those, which I can't quite yet.
So
What
they're gonna
neat
do a
title.
When is that release?
Look, we're all talking at the same time.
I think it's June or July, because it's finished. I'm done with it, so it's June or July.
Cool.
What
What
are
neat
they
ti-
gonna do a special edition for everyone?
So far, yes. So at least for the first two, and I'm sure the third one. And if they, because I contracted for 3, and so we'll see if they sell, they'll contract for more, and if not, I'll do more myself. So
What
far,
titles though? Those titles are just amazing. I love them.
We spent a lot of time on the titles, going back and forth. Yeah, they took some time.
So did you have a lot of input on the cover as well, and this special edition cover? I mean, if it was their first and your first, was it a collaboration or?
It was, and I'm not very artistic that way, so I usually just say, I like the color blue. But we had a huge Zoom meeting with everybody, and so we came up with ideas, and then they came up with a lot more ideas. So, so I can't take credit for much of it, except to say that I do love it. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
So Sherry Brown has a question. If you could choose to be one of your characters out of any of your books for one day, who would you choose?
If I could just be a character out of one book, I would probably pick one of the witches in the Dark Protector series, just because they have magic. Well, really, they use quantum physics and string theory to manipulate space and time. But I would be a witch for a day and go manipulate space and time and just go anywhere I want to go. They have the ability to transport anywhere. So I'd probably do something like that and go. You can't go through dimensions. You can go through dimensions to another dimension, but it has to be obviously a third. And so I would, if there's really places like that, I'd want to do that.
Would you have an agenda?
So long as I lived. I mean,
that little tiny detail.
Yeah. And the travel didn't take you thousands and thousands of years in each direction.
Right?
And just last time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be amazing.
Okay, that scares the crap out of me to think about writing something that even said the words quantum physics in it.
String theory.
And string theory. Are you a big sci-fi fan? Do you love that stuff? Are you like?
I do, but more. I just didn't want anything to be magic, like just saying it's magic and going poof. I needed to, if I had a character who could teleport, I had to at least find some sort of scientific basis, and then make up the rest. I added to it, but there needed to be a scientific basis for it in order for it to make sense to me. So I studied a little bit. I would love to learn all about string theory, but I haven't had time yet. But I have looked into it a little bit, so it's just interesting to me. And if I don't get bored, I feel like the reader won't get bored.
Okay. I think the most I know about string theory is from The Big Bang.
Yeah, I love The Big Bang Theory. I love Sheldon. I actually use him, Sheldon Cooper, when I give a talk about character arcs. Because if you look at him from the beginning of the show to the end, that's a huge character arc. And he's a great example of how a character can grow and change. So, but I love that show.
I do too.
Someone asked, and I actually had the same question. Oh, I'm sorry, Diana. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So someone asked a question I was going to ask. How do you pronounce Thorne's last name out loud?
Totally want to know that too.
The audiobook, it was like, bah.
Yeah, the audiobook is right. And my cousin married a man from Ireland, and they own some Irish pubs in New York. And so we double checked with him. Like, do we have this right? Because it isn't Irish. He's the hero's kind of the head of the Irish mob, but I just picked the name because it sounded like beast. I don't really think it's an actual word. So, I just thought it was close. And so we did check that. So I think the narrator did a good job. But really, you can pronounce it any way you want in your head, because I just picked it because it looked good. So
how do you pronounce it?
And kind of like the narrator, except I don't like grunt quite that well, but I try. I think of them as Thorne too. Half the time, I always think of my characters with their first names, and sometimes I forget their last names. So.
Well, after 60
that
books,
makes sense.
I can imagine you might forget.
Exactly. So Marian asks, what fantasy theme or fairy tale would you most like to base a romance on but haven't yet?
So like Cinderella's coming up, and the Big Bad Wolf, Red Riding Hood, they're both coming up. And so I'm looking forward to those. And then I don't know, after book 4, I'm not sure. So definitely those two. I have a thing for the Big Bad Wolf. And
I do too.
yeah, right. And Red Riding Hood. There's just so much, that you can do with that. And so, I mean, this one was a lot of fun with Beauty and the Beast, because for me, I don't know about you all, but when I watched the Beauty and the Beast, the cartoon, it really bothered me when he was cured and he went back to being the prince. I mean, I like the Beast. I never, right? And so that was, yeah, exactly. I mean, he was great as the Beast, and so I was really bummed when he turned into that prince.
I agree. It's like I didn't like him anymore. I wanted him still to be the Beast.
Exactly.
Well, and I have to say, I really, really loved it. Like, my heart just clenched a little bit when she opened up the doors and found the library. I was like, as I was reading, I was like, there better be the coolest library in this book. And I love that she found a library.
Oh, me too. That was wouldn't that be a dream come true? I mean, 5 storybooks everywhere in every language. And it just sounds like just a wonderful place to be.
Rebecca,
and have nothing to do. You're a captive, so you have nothing to do.
I was giving her best effort trying to find, an escape tunnel, but after a while, you just got to go read a book.
Yeah,
like is it really captivity if there's a library?
Right, and a fully stocked kitchen. I mean, I'm good.
Yeah, that's good. I'll go today.
Right?
Yeah. Rebecca, are there any fairy tales you would not want to retell? Like you would just stay away from? No.
Not really. I mean, you can make anything up.
Right.
So, no.
Is there any genre that you don't see yourself writing in?
Probably historical romance. I haven't actually even read. I used to read it quite a bit with the Julie Garwood, and I haven't read any modern ones, and I should. But I just don't think. I like to do research for books, and except that that doesn't interest me. And you have to get it exactly right, like what they wore at the time, and that's just not a big interest. I'd rather go study string theory, which they're both fascinating. So I don't see myself writing historical just because I just don't think I'd be very good at it.
Because she
do you read a lot of dark romance though, or?
I did before I wrote this. I went and studied the genre, and when it came to the first person present tense, I actually wrote the first 3 chapters. I wrote 1 in first person present tense, and then 3 chapters in third person, and sent them both to my editor, and we decided which one we liked. So that was a big jump for me. But yeah, I read many of the popular dark romances, and I did learn something that I've never been somebody who really paid a lot of attention to trigger warnings, and I learned that I should. There was one book that I should have, and the author was fully transparent. Everywhere she said, read the trigger warnings, and I didn't. And it was a lot. It was too much for me. So I kind of knew where I was going to draw the line with mine. Yeah, it's great, very well written, but I should have listened.
So now your book doesn't have a trigger warning, does it?
It does. Yeah, but it's
okay. All right.
Pretty. I mean, it does. Maybe it's online. I can't remember. Oh yeah, it says. Dark themes, obsessive and morally gray hero, spicy bedroom scenes for mature readers only, light bondage, nudity, spanking, swearing, torture, inappropriate use of bathroom belts.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So,
yes. Okay.
That's a pretty decent trigger warning. The inappropriate use of bathroom belts. Like, what's the appropriate use? Like,
right. We wanted to add a little humor, so
yeah, that's funny.
Those scenes are a little spicier than the scenes in some of your other books. Was that hard for you?
No. I want to say yes, but wasn't. No. I know I did push the envelope a little bit, and I was like, I told my agent, and I've always known this, when you're working with any editor, it's a lot easier for them to pull you back than push you forward. And so I learned that right off the bat. And so I've never been pulled back. So far so good, and I'm fine if I am, if anybody ever says this is too much, but so far we haven't hit that point.
Well, and it's easier to edit pulling back than to edit making it more. So
yeah.
Well,
okay,
so I'm not the only person to notice. Yeah,
I didn't know this either. Help us out, Rebecca. I don't know what a bathroom belt is.
I'm sorry. Is that what I said? It's bathrobe belt.
Oh,
Oh,
Sorry, I was reading
Okay.
quickly. It's bad. I hope it says
No,
something. I
no.
gotta check.
Bathrobe belt. That makes
Oh,
so much
different
sense.
types.
It's right.
Types of
It's that
bathrobe belt because we had lots of bathrobes of different types.
So have you done any traveling to certain places for information in writing your books?
You know, I have. I travel a lot for book signings, and I'll always whenever I go somewhere, I'll use that place in a book at some point. So it's almost like I'm already going to the place to do a signing, and then I'll add it to a series.
Mhm.
Except for I did go to Iceland for fun, and I will put that in a book, you know, at some point because it looked pretty cool.
How many more book signings do you have between now and the end of the year?
I just went on a pretty long book tour, so I tried to cut down on the rest of the year. I'm a guest of honor at Killer Nashville in
Oh, cool.
August, and so, but I don't think there's a signing. I'm giving a keynote. Then I'm giving a keynote at RAM, which is also for authors. So really, the next signing would be Author Nation in November in Vegas.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a conference, and then they have a public signing on the last day. So that's it for this year. So.
That's it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sure next year's already.
Only that. So Rebecca, I feel like for a while there, book tours were kind of a thing of the past. Like we weren't, not just because of COVID, it seemed like we weren't really seeing them or doing them. And now it feels like there's kind of a resurgence where you're seeing them a lot more. Tell us about your book tour. And
Okay. This was actually the first book tour I've been sent on by a publisher. So it is something new. Now, I've been flown somewhere for like a signing or like a store opening or Comic-Con or something like that, but I've never actually been taken on a tour before. And so a lot of times authors who go on tours, even the big ones, are planning their own tours, and then their publisher, helps advertise. So it is, I think, something fairly new, at least, for me. So it was a lot of fun. I started in Texas and then went to a few cities in California, and then I came home. Then I went back to California, and then my publisher offered to take me back on tour. The 11th of July. So I was home for the 1st through the 11th, and we decided that we'd probably just wait and go on a tour with a second book. I was tired of traveling, even though it was wonderful and fun. And July and August and September are where you want to be where I live. This is where people come. But if they want to take me somewhere in February, March, or April, I am all in. So I'm hoping we can time it better next time. But it was fun. You stay, every night at a different hotel, which gets, you get a little lonely, you get a little tired. And I don't know what's up with Marriott and the pillows lately, but they're huge. I mean, they're like, you try to jump on the pillows just so you can sleep, and that's new. So it must be a thing. People must like really thick pillows these days.
And are you writing while you're on tour?
I didn't, no. And my agent told me, she goes, don't plan on writing. And so I did plan on writing, but I didn't end up writing. So I did on the plane, because I always write on the plane. But other than that, I didn't.
I can't write on the
schedule for writing.
I don't like to fly, so I can write on the plane, because I kind of take myself out of the fact that I'm on an airplane. And my schedule, it varies. I look at how much time I have until the next book's due, and then I divide by how many days I have left, and that's my schedule.
Right. Deadline.
What's your typical word count day, though?
If I'm writing a book,
yeah.
I get up, work out. We have kind of a little home gym, so I don't have to go anywhere. Usually answer emails that have come in for a half an hour, and then I write an hour on, hour off. So I can write about 1,500 words in an hour. And so when I hit 1,500 words, even if it's only been 45 minutes, then I get an hour and 15 minutes off. And so so I just write all day. Basically, if I'm in the book, I'm in the book. And then, I have other things going on, obviously. So I just have to schedule around life. But
right.
That's what I
That's
do.
your life.
But you do like 5,000 words a day?
Oh yeah, a 6,000 word day is typical and relaxing for me. If it's more than 6, I'm under a real tight deadline.
Typical and relaxing?
Mm-hmm. That's a comfortable writing day for me. I know, but then I take time off between books. You know, so if and then because I was really thinking about it when I just turned in the second book in this series, and I was really thinking about it, and it's being in the middle of a book for me isn't comfortable really, because it never leaves your brain and you're always thinking this twist, that twist, wait a minute, I forgot this. And so there's just really no relaxing until the book is done. And then I relax like crazy. And, I take some time off. So that's pretty much, I'm more like a sprinter than a long distance runner, if that makes sense.
Are you like a plotter or a pantser when you?
I'm a pantser.
A pantser?
Yeah, I've tried to plot, and every time I try, it's like,
Same
I
here.
need to go write this, and I never go back to the
Same here. If I know what's going to happen, I don't want to write it.
Right, exactly. That's how I feel. And so with a lot of my contracts, you get paid when you sign the contract, but then you get paid when you turn in an outline, and then you get paid when you turn in the book. And so we finally hit a point, because I wasn't doing an outline, so I wouldn't get that payment until the book went in. So we finally changed it to first 50 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that worked out nice.
That's cool.
Well, and for me, I've spent the last 12 years you finish one book, you maybe give yourself a couple days, get started again. And for the first time in like a decade, I just took June off.
Nice.
And I did not write a word for all of June.
Nice.
And it was so freeing. Right? I hate to say it, but it was, because
Well,
writing is freaking hard.
It is. And then when you get back to the writing, you feel like you recharged a little bit, right? You got some time and now it's fun again. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, I started taking off.
Brittany wants to know.
Sorry.
What did you say, Sharon? You started writing?
I started taking off between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah. And I found I was still writing, but I felt like, oh, it's bonus words, because I was not planning on writing. And it just came much easier. But it just, the permission during that period of time when I've got company and dinners and all that stuff is wonderful.
That's a good idea. I'm going to plan that too.
Dude, my agent works really, really hard to make it so I don't write in August or December. I mean, she has to fight me when we're talking about, contract negotiations, and she just puts her foot down, and she's pretty wonderful. I mean, I still do write, but it's like you said, I'm having more fun and relaxing with it, because she has made sure I don't have to during those months. So.
So Brittany asks, what was your biggest inspiration to start writing?
Well, I always wanted to. I'd always planned on writing, and I was a lawyer, and we had 2 little kids, and we got snowed in. I mean, we just got absolutely snowed in this one year, and we haven't had a winter like that in a while. And, we were having fun with the kids, but I had a lot of time. And I thought, you know what, now's the time. I've always wanted to write a book. So there was a contest for, it's a publisher that's not around anymore. And so I wrote, it was kind of a medium-sized book for the contest, and I finaled in it, and I didn't win, but that kind of gave me the confidence to start taking all these workshops online and go to a couple conferences and really learn how to write. And so then once I was on that train, there was no getting off. So then I sold to Kensington, and I was off and running.
How long have you been writing, Rebecca?
My first book came out in March of 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was Nora Roberts' story too. She started during a snowstorm.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, her kids were little. She was home. She lives in the mountains of Maryland.
Yeah. And
she wrote a book during a snowstorm.
Cool. Yeah, I've been to her. I had a book signing with her at her bookshop. I think she owns the whole town, and so. But I didn't know that about the snowstorm. That's cool.
And how many other publishers have you written for?
3. So 4. Well, 5 if you count myself. So 5. Yeah. And I've been with Kensington from the beginning, and still am with Kensington.
That's cool.
And then, I still option books too, 2 of them, and so I'm sure we'll work together again. It's just schedule timing.
And I think that's how I met you, was with Entangled. I think I met you a long time ago.
Yeah. So I started with
In that
Kensington,
connection.
and then I added Grand Central and Entangled like at the same time. So there was a period where I was writing for three publishers, three different series. And that's, in my opinion, that's a little too many, because, you know, if something's going on with your schedule with one publisher, you know, they could tweak, you know, your whole schedule, but they don't know what's going on with another publisher.
Yeah.
And you can never, ever say, well, my book's late because I was working on, you know, this.
Oh, right.
You know, three was too many for me at one time. And I learned that. So.
Because it's not just the book, right? You're not just writing the book, then you're getting the edits back, and then you're doing the proofs and the galleys and
the marketing plan. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was one time where I was writing a book, got the proof pages back for a different one, got the copy edits back for a different one, and then got like the developmental edits back, and like for like 4 books all at once. And I was like, let me just sit and cry for a minute before
it was like a week deadline for everybody. Only gave you a week.
Yeah. Well, that's how Entangled was like. They were my first publisher, and it was like drinking water from a fire hose. And everything had to be done really quickly. Turnaround was really quick. But in a way, it was really good for me, because it taught me like to just move quickly and turn stuff around and write fast. So when like I got edits from source books and they're like, okay, so is 3 weeks enough for you to turn this in? I'm like, 3 weeks or 3 days? They're like, 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. I found that, you know, at Kensington too, because we have crashed a book or two through, you know, and so then I'll get something like that. You'll have 3 weeks. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
What am I going to do? I should go on a trip. But, you know, I'm usually outside. So.
Well, if you're like me, you just wait till those last 3 days of the 3 weeks, and then you just jump in and get her done. But nobody has to know that. That'll be our secret.
How many books do you have out, Rebecca?
I think I'm in the 80s, actually.
Wow.
And that's counting novellas. But yeah, I'm in the 80s. I should
be like Rebecca when I grow up.
How many do you write a year?
Well, it just depends. I mean, it depends what's due when, you know.
That's like 8 or 9 books a year.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's that many. I mean, I'm trying to look. I don't feel like it's that many. I think it's more like maybe 5 books and a couple novellas, but it just depends on the year.
Please tell us some of those are novellas. Please say some of those are novellas.
Well, I have my schedule over on the wall, so I kind of keep looking over there. You know.
So, Mood Reader wants to know, what was your inspiration for the castle in this book?
You know, I made it up. I was just thinking, okay, what kind of castle structure could we actually have in modern day with the stones and everything, and where can I put it? And I really wanted it by the ocean. And the book is set in Silicon Valley, because it's there's 4 competing social media companies at the core of this. And so it turns out you can live by the ocean if you work in Silicon Valley. I didn't know that. So I just kind of did some, you know, looked around at different castles and then just made it up, you know, what would it look like today? And so, yeah. And then I just had fun with it, because I mean, who has a moat these days?
I know. I love the moat with the fish that eat things. You know?
Rebecca, can I ask, how you had mentioned with the crystals that it can also extend their life?
Yeah.
How old are these? Like some of these people aren't like centuries old, right?
No. They maybe get a good 20 years extra.
Okay. So yeah, not talking like vampires.
They're not immortal. No. They just get better health. There's an exchange of energy from crystals to these people that they've learned to harness that actually everybody can, but just hasn't learned. And it gives them just better life, which really made a difference way back when, you know, when people only lived to 30 or 40, and that's how they amassed the power and the money. And so now they get probably 20, 25 years more. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was really interesting, the whole crystal. And did you, when you came up with that, were you working hand in hand with your editor with that, or did you just throw that in?
I think, honestly, when I got the offer, I think the comment was, and could you add a hint of magic? And so that was it. And so I thought, how could I add magic to these social media companies? And I thought, well, crystals that runs their servers, and then of course you have the beast and the garnets, and that just came together well. Because I think of garnets when I think of Beauty and the Beast for some reason. So.
Well, and I'm not going to give the end away, but I thought the twist of the villain was excellent. Like I should have seen it coming, but I was all in, right? So I was just reading and.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. That's the goal.
Well,
I know I don't want to give much away.
It's funny because I was thinking, I bet it's him, and then I got distracted and thought it was somebody else, and then was convinced it was somebody else, and then when it was him, I was like, ah.
I love it when you get like readers who are like, I totally knew who it was. I mean, there's really only usually 3 options, right? And so at one point you think it's all 3, so they're like, yeah, you got me.
And you didn't have a ton of characters on the page at all, right? So no, I thought it was someone else. I thought it was somebody else, and then it wasn't. Only because you left me a clue that it might be that person, and I was like, and it was very subtle.
Now I'm curious what clue you got, Shannon or Sharon, that I didn't pick up.
It was during a board meeting when she noticed someone's hand.
Okay.
I don't want to give too much away.
Okay, I'm with you. We're talking in code now.
Yeah,
Give things away.
We love that.
And the person's name just happens to be my grandmother's maiden name.
Oh, that's interesting.
In fact, a lot of those names are because I have actually family back in New York in the same business that the Beast was in.
Oh, cool.
Many generations ago. But we don't talk about it.
Yeah. Well, a name like Zanetti, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. That was our social media. But I love stories with that particular element with Irish mob and stuff like that. So
this talk just took a dark turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
Well,
So Sherry wants to know. Okay, go ahead, Sharon. If you're going to reveal, go reveal.
No, it was a Sherry question. Go ahead. Go with that Sherry question. So.
Okay. Keep it in the family history. Okay. Have you ever been to someone's book signing? So someone else's book signing?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, usually like there are tons of authors at a book signing. And so I do, if I get a chance, like to go around and, get some books. Usually if there's a book signing, I'm in it. But on my book tour, Emily Rath had a book signing, and and I was in town, and so they said, "Well, will you come interview her?" And that was fun. I got to ask the questions, and I got to take pictures, and I signed some books. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. I haven't been on that side of things for a while, and she was fun to watch. She's very smart. She's really good with the audience. So so I went to hers. I would love to go. Actually, I just got this. I don't know if you guys have you read Pen Pal?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And I went and I got the.
I'm so happy. That's
it's beautiful,
book, right? Is that the Bramble?
Yeah, it's got the pages inside. I mean, I've read this like 5 times, but I went and got the special edition.
And that one, and that was I bought it for the blurb, and then I didn't. Because the original blurb threw me off of what the story was going to be.
I know.
I don't give too much away, but it blew me away. I think I read it in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Who was it by?
Jason Dysinger. It's also writes motorcycle.
Yeah. It is so good. I actually haven't had an author crush for quite a while, and total author crush here. I found her at Book Bonanza and had her sign my book, and I felt like a dork, but she's really nice.
Cool.
And you've read it 5 times?
Oh, I love this book.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's really one of those books where the more you read, she drops all these clues that you just keep missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very. I love all her books, but that one in particular was one of my favorites.
Same with me. And if you do read it, you're going to want to read ahead. Don't
read
ahead.
Yeah.
No.
I never do do that.
Yeah. You really don't want to ruin. You don't want to ruin the twist.
Don't read ahead. So because I usually, we're all authors. We see twists coming.
And don't look at the reviews. Don't read any of the reviews because you really, really, really don't.
I'm totally going and buying this.
I hate it when people ruin stuff in the reviews.
Spoilers?
No.
I know.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah. So no, don't read the spoiler. Just read it from beginning to end. it's rare to take us, by surprise, authors, and didn't see it.
So do you have somebody that you fangirl over, or that when you get in line to see them or have gotten in line to see them, that your heart like pitter patters?
Yeah, her, because I don't know her too. And so, yeah, her. I had when I was writing for Grand Central, they took me to BEA, which is this big weekend in New York. And I was having a signing with Kristen Ashley. And I hadn't read her yet. And this is quite a few years ago. And so I read one of her books on the plane between here and New York. And then I was a total fangirl when I got there. And so I was actually with Kristen and then Jodi Ellen Malthus. And you don't realize how tall those two girls are until you're standing between them at a signing. I'm looking at the pictures going, man, I think I was wearing heels too. It's really not fair. But so I fangirled over her. And that signing I told you about with Nora Roberts. I could barely talk for the first 10 minutes. And then Lexi Blake, the first time I met her, and we've become actually really, really good friends. But the first time I met her, I was a little tongue-tied. So.
Kristen Ashley is why I started reading. Like, she really got me to Motorcycle Club. I would never.
No, Motorcycle Man was the first book I read by her. And I am at the point where I cannot read her, because if I start to read her, I will stop writing and just binge like 7 books of hers and won't stop, so I gotta be real careful.
Motorcycle Man was the book I read on the plane.
That was my first one too. It was my favorite.
Yep. Well, not only that, do you notice after you've read a couple of her books, you talk differently for a little while, because her dialogue is so unique. I'll hear myself going, ooh. And one time my husband's like, were you just reading Kristen Ashley again? I'm like, oh, yeah.
I do that when I watch Downton Abbey. And all of a sudden I'll be talking like Downton Abbey for a while. That's funny. When I met Susan Elizabeth Phillips, I tried to talk to her and tell her what an inspiration she was, and I just started crying.
Oh, yeah.
I did that with J.R. Ward.
Oh,
years. And I said, I feel like at a Bon Jovi concert when I was 16, which I actually went to. I said, I haven't felt this way in a long time. And she actually started laughing. I said,
you and Bon Jovi just.
Well, and we have the 1,000 Nights authors. We have a signing with J.R. Ward every other year in Lexington. And we get to go to her house for brunch. And so the first time I was at her house, I was on my absolute best behavior. And so, and then during COVID, there was a group of probably 6 or 7 of us who were, isolated. And so we just started emailing each other. Like, we had a group email and she was on there. And so got to know her. She's just one of the kindest people. So, yeah.
She seems very, very kind. I love meeting her every time. But she's one of the ones I meet and the tears start flowing. And
I'm the weird person who, I'm such an introvert. I think I just get scared and run the other way. Like, oh my God, there's my hero. I gotta run.
Well, I feel better confessing then, because when I was at Book Bonanza, Lexi Blake actually dragged me over to meet JT and get a book signed. I was that person. She's like, you have to. I'm like, I don't want to bug her. And so Lexi's like, I'm done with this. I'm just done with this. And so she made it happen.
That's cool. That is really cool.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, now I'm sure there are newer, younger authors who feel the same way about you, Rebecca.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there are.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, when you've been in the business for a while, we all have people who, are really nice to us and come up and ask for tips. It's just sweet.
It is sweet. It is really sweet.
Do you have tips that you usually give? If someone asks you for a tip, what did you have, like something your go-to tip or?
I do. I have a new tip. Actually, it's protect your arms and hands and take care of your body. This job is a lot harder on your body than we think. And so if I could know this starting out, I would make sure I would have been a lot more careful with my hands and my arms when I'm writing. I wouldn't rest my elbows on a hard desk. I would make sure I had, if I wrote 10,000 words, I have to walk 10,000 steps. I would really add health to it. And then if they ask me about actual writing, I'd say just, don't hold yourself back, and don't save X for the next book, put it all in this book and you'll think of, new stuff for the next book.
Well, that's a good tip.
That is a good tip.
Yeah. So who was the first book character of yours that you ever fell in love with?
My very first book that sold, I wanted to write a romantic suspense about kind of a U.S. Marshal who rescues a mom and her daughter on the run. And this guy kept turning into a vampire no matter what I did. He's very stubborn. His name's Talon Cares. And so and at that time, all the online groups I was in, we're all hearing, do not write paranormal, do not write vampires. So I had friends who were changing their vampires to like wear mermaids and wear foxes and, no werewolves even. So I was like, you know what? I'll just write this thing for me. I mean, I'll just let him do whatever he wants and I'll put every crazy thing I could think of in it. And it ended up, then I finished it and I sat on it for a few months and I was like, I should at least try. So I sent it to 2 agents and 2 editors. And then I signed with an agent and had sold it in 4 or 5 days. So, and it's called The Spade. It's the first Dark Protector book. So, and I just sold 3 more of those. So we're in the 20s now with the Dark Protectors. I honestly thought, okay, I'll write 3 and then move on. And we're in the 20s now. So those vampires don't die.
That is so cool.
Agent?
Pardon?
Are you still with your same agent?
I am with my same agent. And yeah, and I'm one of the few people of my friends who's, and it's pretty common to, move agents. And I'm one of the few. I'm still with my very first agent. And we're around the same age, so it'll be perfect. If we retire ever, it'll be probably when we're about 90. So yeah, I'm really thankful that I really lucked out. I mean, because you just don't know when you're starting out who and I lucked out. She's the perfect agent for me. So
that is cool.
So what's your favorite thing about writing a series?
That you can always return to that world. When you create a world and you create characters, they kind of become a part of you, or at least, kind of your friends sometimes when you're alone writing. And so I like being able to return to that world after I've gone somewhere else.
And how do you keep it all straight? Do you have a series Bible or?
Yeah. And I didn't. For the first several series, I didn't do that. And so I was always going back. And I had one series where one of the male heroes, he has like blue eyes in one book, silver eyes in another book. So I finally just gave him silvery blue eyes in the final book.
There you go.
So
problem solved.
Yeah, nailed it.
Rebecca, how do you keep your story Bibles? What do you keep them in? What format?
I keep them in, let's see, I don't see that I have one. Oh, yeah, here.
Are you in your office?
I am. And it's a little messy because I just finished a deadline. So I keep them in notebooks like this.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
And I just put that one back together. So I do. And so I have like character pages, which honestly for me is a lot of times just procrastinating a little bit. But I put them together with a picture of who I think they'll be. And then with these longer series, then I'll do like a chart with book 1, 2, 3, 4, who's in it, who's the bad guy, who wins and how it pushes forward the overall arc. So I'll have boxes for those that hopefully I look back at. And then I now have an Excel spreadsheet with all of the names I've used, and I have it broken down by series. So I don't reuse names, or I try not to. At some point you just do, but I'm careful not to do it in the same series usually.
It's hard though.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's like millions of names out there, but like our minds just go to like the same ones,
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Okay,
what
so
was your
I'm
favorite
still
scene
stuck
in
on,
this
like-
book? Sorry.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
I'm not sure.
I want to know what I want to know what you're stuck on next. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm stuck on the fact that it looks like you have an island in your office.
Oh, this?
Yes.
Well, okay. So I have, if you see the sides, that's my whole office. That goes around on 3 walls. And then I had, it was Christmas. It was Christmas during the pandemic. I had a little table here because I was wrapping presents while watching the Great British Bake Off on my computer. And so that was my whole Christmas. And then I really discovered I like having that. And so this is all from Pottery Barn. And so they have this matching table. And so I didn't measure it, and I just ordered it. And it gets here, and it's like this high. It's like way too high. It's this actual table. And so my husband figured out how to cut off the bottom. And so this side is a desk, but on the sides are bookshelves So I have more of my books on the sides, which is good because I need more room for them. So it's a little big for the office. Like we've talked about maybe cutting it in half, but I'm the only one in here and there's room around both sides. And I end up using the whole thing a lot of times, to be totally honest. So that's how it was a pandemic. I didn't measure type of purchase is what it was, but I actually like it. It's a little big, but there's lots of room for books.
It works.
Yeah, it's awesome. Having your own workstation in your office.
I love
great.
it.
Yeah, I turns out I really do love it. And then I bought the fireplace behind me that is not on because we're having record heat, but that's nice in the winter.
Oh, is that against the wall?
That thing is a fireplace?
Yeah, it's a fireplace. So it's really cool. It has all different colors for the rocks. You can change it and all different colors for the flames. And then it'll blow heat. So it really warms it up nice in here.
The thing up high on the wall?
Yeah. There's
I thought it was a microwave at first.
Oh, no. It's a huge fireplace. And it has a remote control, but I haven't used it lately. So I'll have to probably find that. Well,
it's summer, but wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. And sometimes I have it on just the flames on and not the heat in the summer, but I don't know. It just seems too hot to even think about flames right now.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, there was plenty of flames in your book, so.
Speaking of your book, what was your favorite scene in this book?
What was my favorite scene? You know, I was really partial to the when she walked into and discovered the library, just because I could feel that to my bones, like what that would feel like. I also like initially he kidnaps her. I love a good kidnapping scene. I just do. I'm not sure what that says about me, but yeah, I love a good kidnapping scene. So, and, you know, and there's a little humor in there too, but it's pretty sexy at the same time.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Thanks.
I thought the first scene was really powerful. Just the very first scene from Thornton's point of view. Like that was just a very
thanks.
compelling.
That's my favorite part of writing a book is the beginning when the page is blank and I don't have anything and I write that and I don't even know who these people are, and so then figuring them out is the rest of the book. But that is my absolute favorite. A lot of people don't like the beginning, but a blank page at the beginning is my editor and I talked about maybe doing a book with just first chapters, you know, and then we decided that would just make people mad. So
So what is your favorite romance trope?
Ooh, that's hard because I really like them all. But if I really had to pick one, it would be enemies to lovers.
Oh, that's my
That's so funny.
Too.
I have not written an enemies to lovers, and I just have I don't know why.
Wow.
Wow.
Out of all my 36 books, I've never done enemies.
I disagree. Your last Christmas book, the Cowboy Christmas book, it was a Grumpy Sunshine, but it was a bit of enemies to lovers. It had that twinge of that.
Okay, maybe I have. I don't feel like I have. I do like Grumpy Sunshine, though. I love Grumpy Sunshine.
I know you do.
I know you do.
Me too.
That's why you need other author friends to tell you what tropes you write.
It's true. I mean, I was on a panel somewhere and somebody was talking about Grumpy Sunshine, and I actually hadn't heard the term. And so I said, "What is Grumpy Sunshine?" And Lexi Blake was there. She goes, "That's what you write." I'm like, oh, what does that mean? You know, I had no idea.
It's also my marriage.
Me too. And I don't, because my husband does not like social media, which, you know, we have to be on social media for our jobs. So
yeah.
But I don't know about you guys. Have you hit a point in your marriage where your husband like flirts with you through memes all day and half of them you don't understand what they mean? Is it just me? Going, okay, I don't know if you want to kiss or go rob a bank. I mean, what does that mean?
Oh.
Hashtag goals.
Right? It's very confusing, and I try to get it, but sometimes I'm like, all right, I got nothing. What do you mean? How is that flirtatious?
But that's what's so special about that whole grumpy thing is that this grumpy guy, that you're the one person that he just loves the most. So
I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah. Cute. Well, shoot, we got to go. Holy cow, this went fast.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
Thanks, Rebecca.
You're a ball. Thank you so much for stopping in. We just
a lot of
really
fun.
appreciate you and appreciate your books, and we're just delighted to have talk to you today.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, this was a ball. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, we're really happy
Yeah.
you're here.
Bye.
Bye, Rebecca. Great to see you again. Okay, well, holy cow, we just have a few minutes to talk about what we're going to read next month. And I happen to have the little cover here. So it's kind of funny because earlier this year I did a murder mystery party where I hosted this big murder mystery party for a bunch of readers. I think we had like 350, 400 people and readers in there. And Rebecca was one of my characters in the murder mystery. So she was a wonderful, like a movie star. I was going to say damsel, a movie star. And one of my other characters was the gal who the author of the next book we're going to read is Tanya Copps. And we are going to read Grave as All Get Out. This is her new book.
Hey, fun.
If you guys have not met her yet, she is a hoot. She is really fun. She's funny, and we're going to have a great time talking to her. And she's got a zillion books too. And yeah, we're going to have a great time.
Sounds great.
All right. Looking forward to it. See you next time, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Next time. Bye.